Alright, so what I'm about to tell you might not seem possible. But what I've been doing and what we're testing this year in the School of Forecasting is McWhirter's monthly lunation model. Now, there's a lot of confusion around this model and how it works and what it's meant to do. However, there's a lot of these tools that we do build out to prove that these methods work. So now I already went over this in a prior video, okay? I've already talked to you about this, but in case you missed it, I wanted to give you a little bit of a lowdown here, okay? So the major trend for the lunation of December to January is bullish, okay? So there is a major bullish bias. However, the monthly bias was bearish, and that had to do with Jupiter in the first house, Saturn in the 10th house, Neptune in the 10th house, and Pluto in the 7th house. And then it was making new moon aspects. I'm not sure if you can read that, but we had square to Saturn, we had conjunction to Mars, and we had square to Neptune. There was a lot of things going on here. Now let's just take a look. Now, I don't say this to brag, okay? Look, when we go over these and we do these forecasts, they're about helping people. They're not to solidify one's ego. So the whole point of this is that we are testing, planning, preparing, and trying to get an understanding of what is likely to occur in the future. So between December 20, okay, I'm just reading up here so you can follow along. Between 20th of December and 18th of January, there is actually a bearish lunation inside a major bullish trend. The upward bias should be supported during this time. Any bearish tendency will be felt by the new moon's transit to Saturn, Mars, and Neptune. Okay, so it's all written here. Let's take a look at how this may play out for the whole lunation. The first major aspect is moon hitting Saturn. This occurs on the 27th. There's a chance this triggers a sell-off in price. A sell-off may, the sell-off may activate the lunation spirit bias, but this should not be devastating during this bullish major trend. Alternatively, this will be a low point and prices stall around this area. I want you to just keep focusing, okay? There is possibility life will be breathed into the market around the 3rd and the 4th. At this point, we have the new moon transiting the first house, passing Jupiter and Mercury, hitting Mars, which is known to bring volatility and energy. This could be a setup for an explosive move. The original bias would be up with the longer term trend. The moon hits Mars on the 16th. This might trigger a sell down into the next lunation. Now, we actually posted this 20th of December. Okay, so this is not something that we just look at today. I'm going to bring up the chart now. I want to show you what's happened. So this is the chart here, and this is the Dow Jones chart, okay? So the Dow Jones chart. Now, up here was the 27th, okay? So it was roughly, let me go ahead and put an arrow on it for you. Just grabbing an arrow. It was roughly here that, whoop, I've grabbed the wrong arrow. Let me grab the right arrow. It was roughly right here, okay? This here is when the moon passed Saturn. We had a downward swing. The 3rd of the 4th was occurring down here. Unfortunately, the 4th was a weekend, so the effect was felt on the 6th when the market gapped higher. Now, do you remember what the next call was, or what the next suggested framework was? Sorry, I was just working on something else there, pulled that one up by accident. But let's go back and take a look, okay, because we want to really make sure we get an understanding of this. Okay. This could be a setup for an explosive move. The original bias will be up with the longer term trend. The moon hits Mars on the 16th. This might trigger a sell down into the next lunation. That's what I'm looking at. So again, this was all posted at the beginning of the year. And we take a look. Let's go ahead and get rid of this one. And we take a look at the 16th. This is the 16th right here. Let's go ahead and grab our next red arrow. We pop it right here. And we can see this major movement down. Okay. This is really what we're looking for. We're looking for these swings, and we're trying to find out the dates that these swings are going to activate. Now, for those of you in the McWhirter program, this is all new stuff that's coming up, and I have gone through McWhirter's course head to toe, roundabout, so many times now to try and get an understanding of how this model works. And I think I've gotten it to the point that we can actually use it in the way that McWhirter had told us it's possible to use. Now, McWhirter said that practice makes perfect, so what I did is I went through about 5 years of monthly lunations. If you don't know, there's about 13 lunations a month, so times that by 5, I did around 60 lunations. Okay, And that means I was trying to analyze it, I was trying to gauge whether it was a bullish or bearish bias, I was trying to find when the turn dates were, and that gave me a real solid foundation on how to actually use this method. And I just wanted to show you that this is the outcome. So is the market down? Or we have to go back and find out what's happening at the next lunation. We have a major trend bullish, and that starts on the 18th. So I'd be expecting probably the market to really be bottoming around here, okay? So it's going to bottom in the next couple of days. I reckon, what do we got here? Mercury hits Pluto on the 22nd. Pluto is in the 7th house, so it's not strong here, but it is a conjunction here with the new moon at lunation. This could bring new, renewed energy. So we might be looking to see what happens around the 22nd. Okay, 22nd or 23rd. We also have Neptune and Saturn being hit on the 23rd. Neptune would generally bring in bubbles, while Saturn would be restrictive. So this is most likely going to be a restrictive bubble, something that kind of pops at the end. While we are sextile to Saturn though, so a move ideally up might not be strong. So just keep this in mind, this is kind of what we're looking at. Now if we do get a move up, we have Jupiter in the 1st house. We may be looking to buy on the 31st as the moon transits Jupiter and activates the market's positive energy. This is all the kind of stuff we're looking at. So where to from here? Well, we have to see what happens tomorrow, but I'll be watching tomorrow to see if there's going to be any possible likely turn occurring. That will be the first one. Okay, let's see what happens.